There are several men in the Bible that time will not permit me to tell you how their addiction took them to the early grave. They were not bothered, they were not perturbed, because they know that if I die in Jesus, I die a good death. Peter was not an example of a good addict. Peter was not. Peter was the one who said to Jesus, if they take you, I will go all the way with you. I will not let anything happen to you. Jesus looked at him and said, before the cock crew, once you must have denied me. How many times? 3 times. I will go all the way with you. Then a little damsel come around and say, Uncle P, you're one of them. And Peter said, me? Maybe my face looked familiar, but I'm not one of them. He walked out of that place, stayed where other people were, and he said, I am not one of them. The third person came, he said, I'm not one of them. The Bible said he started cursing himself by the gods and said, if I know this man, may I not see tomorrow? Then the cock crew. Peter was not an example of a good addict. When Jesus died, they arrested Peter. Emperor Nero caught Peter and brought him to prison. While he was there, it was customary that if you're able to escape from the prison in Rome and walk out of the gates, if you do, then what it means is that you're a free man, no matter the crime you've committed. If you can walk out of that gate called Gate de Popula, if you walk out of Gate de Popula, then you're a free man. So Peter stood up in the night and he discovered everybody was fast asleep. So he started running to cross the gate. When he got to the gate, Jesus appeared in the sky and said to him, Peter, continue to run so that I will come and die for you again. Peter stood there, remorseful. So he turned with his own leg, walked back to the man and said, crucify me. Now, not because I deserve to die. Don't kill me the way you crucify Jesus. I'm not worthy to die like him. I am a disappointment to the calling. He said, turn me upside down. The fact that you read that Peter was turned upside down was of his own accord. He demanded that because of the disgrace and shame he brought to the kingdom, he's not supposed to die like Christ. But my complete and total example of what a kingdom addict should be is the Apostle Paul. When they caught Paul, they were in the presence of the governor. They said, so he said against you. What do you have to say? He said to them, if you know what hit me, if you know what I saw on my way to Damascus, you will not be talking like this because I'm already suffering from it. Then suddenly, the Bible said that the governor said, Paul, you are almost making me to be a Christian. He said, not just you, sir. Everyone, this judiciary. I wish that they will understand what I saw. They say, let him go. When he left, another time they arrested Paul. And Paul was put in prison to be killed the next day. So they came to Paul and said, denounce Christ or die. This is why he's a practical example of what a kingdom addict should be. Denounce Christ or die. What did he say? He said to live is Christ and to die is gain. He looked at them, he said, this is your burden. He said, can you give me pen and paper? They gave him pen and paper. He said, I want to write a letter to Timothy. He wrote 2 Timothy in prison. He now wrote to Timothy. He said, Timothy, my son, this is a battle. Preach the word in season, out of season. I am ready to be offered. And the time of my departure is at hand. He was writing his own will, telling Timothy, don't worry. And he looked at Timothy and said, I know you're a young man, but let no man despise thy youth. Don't let them look down on you because you are young, but stand you in the Lord. By the laying hands of the apostles and the presbyters, don't let no man look down on your anointing. Stand firm that in this life, one thing must happen. If I live, it's for Christ. If I die, it's for gain. While he wrote that letter to Timothy, the letter was sent to Timothy. He was still there. They now came back to him and said, are you ready now to denounce Christ or you want to die? He said, I told you earlier that to live is Christ and to die is gain. Don't worry, go ahead. Then they brought him out. the three of them stood and were discussing. One of them said, how do we kill him? The other one said, let's drag him on the road until he will die gradually, so that he will hear and get threatened. Another one said, no, let's saw him into two. He was hearing them, so he walked up to them and said, tap them on the shoulder. Whatever you want to do, do it quickly. For I have fought a good fight. I have kept the faith. I have finished my work. One thing is remaining for me, the crown of glory. They say, so you are not afraid to die. He said, but I told you earlier that to live is Christ and to die is gain. It pays to serve Jesus.